and it would happen again and again. And you're during season, and how do you get in to see these vets? The only choice you have is to pay a fortune and go to an emergency vet. So I'm living this life. I love my dog to pieces, and I don't want her to be in extra pain.
Edward Pike, welcome to Southwest Florida Spotlight.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
So let's talk a little bit about you.
I basically grew up in Kentucky, outside of Lexington, and then I moved on. I went to college in North Carolina, and then in Mississippi. I started my first, real job. I worked for a specialty materials manufacturer. We made titanium-based and nickel-based superalloys. Did the inside sales thing, worked in the field. And then an opportunity came up to manage a company that we acquired in England. So I took that job, and then met my future wife there. And they tried to send me back to the States, and I decided I didn't want to go back. So we stayed there while I started a different franchise. After about 5 or 6 years, we wanted to change. A little tired of the dreary weather, so I always wanted to, because of my ties back to the community from the late 70s, I always wanted to retire here anyway. So we figured, well, let's just get this last move done now, and then we won't have to move again, hopefully. I took a lot of time off between when we moved here to when I started the business. Some of it was forced because the hurricane made us delay.
Sure.
But I took 7 or 8 years out myself so that I could be with my children when they were at that really young phase. So that was they're a lot more fun at that age than when they get older anyway. So
I have to agree.
My eldest is Georgia, and she's gonna be starting her freshman year in high school at FSW this year. So and she's been a gymnast since she was probably 4 years old. We love to go to the competitions and cheer her on, and keeps her really busy. And my youngest, Jessica, she is become a serious tennis player. She plays tennis 6 days a week now. She's training with a college player during the summer, and just working really hard at getting better. She loves it, and it's good fun.
That's awesome. As best keep them busy too.
Yes, they need to be kept busy all the time, and we pretty much do that with all the schoolwork on top of training. It doesn't leave them a whole lot of extra time to which we have to allow for that to a degree, but grades are the most important thing. And Georgia's gotten into FSW, and it's a challenging program, and she's gonna hopefully graduate with her associate's degree, and maybe she can get a scholarship, and then then you can bank on 6 years. So that'd be great.
Be very cool.
Have you heard of speed dating?
I have.
Well, that's how we met. We were doing speed dating in a drinking establishment in the UK, and that's how we met. And pretty much we've been together ever since. So it was kind of a surprise that it worked out. So it's good.
Well, I got to meet her at a BNI meeting because she came and took your place at a BNI meeting to help out.
Yeah, she's much better than me at that. I mean, the other thing is her background, Jackie's background is she's a children's nurse, and she worked a lot with children with HIV and immune deficiencies. The PetWell thing was kind of a mixture of our backgrounds with me and with the dog training, and with her and the nursing. They kind of fit together a little bit.
Sure.
Because we look at several different businesses, but we wanted to help more animals. So
yeah. And so let's talk a little bit about the business now. I know we said before that you had a little struggle getting it started because of looking for real estate after the hurricane, which a lot of us experienced that. And, that was tough. But you've you've established PetWell Clinic now. So let's talk a little bit about that. How did you get it going?
Getting it going, it was a challenge. The first was to find a veterinarian, and secondly was to be able to get the facility. And both kind of started to come together at the same point in time. Hiring a veterinarian is very difficult. They're very in demand. We worked for 1.5 to 2 years before we got somebody that we felt really good about. And I'm glad that we waited because we've got a fantastic veterinarian. She comes from Mexico City, and she's got, when she came to us, I think she had over 10 years experience. And she just loves animals. She'd been working in the bovine industry. She ran a clinic on weekends out of her house and wanted to do that full time and get away from that. And you know, it was a good option for her, and it was a great option for us because she's just fantastic. The customers love her. We've got really great reviews, and a lot of that's attributable to her and her work ethic. And it rubs off on you know, our vet assistants as well. So you know, we're really happy to have her.
Yeah, and your clinic doesn't require appointments. Like a lot of clinics, you have to like make the appointment, wait to go, and everything. You have a walk-in clinic.
That's right. That is something that I wanted to do from the start because I had the problem that a lot of people around here have. You know, I have a dog that's prone to medical conditions, and her, it was just something as simple as an ear infection, and it would happen again and again. And you know, you're during season, and how do you get in to see these vets? The only choice you have is to pay a fortune and go to an emergency vet. So you know, I'm living this life. I love my dog to pieces, and I don't want her to be in extra pain. So, you know, and it was just tough to get in anywhere. So I wanted to kind of see the niche that we were aiming for, you know, somewhere in between what the offerings are now. And that's why we don't accept appointments. So PetWell Clinic is a franchise, and I found the franchise because, and it really appealed to me because I could help stop, you know, people from either having to empty their entire wallet or being able to, you know, get their pets in when they need to. And you know, even this time of year, a lot of places are booked out a few weeks, and you know, I know ear infections hurt. And the dogs know that the ear infections hurt. So I'm kind of like, why, you know, I'm trying to give everybody in the community something that that's useful and helpful to them and solves some of the worries in their lives. And, you know, and with snowbirds, you know, if you come down here on vacation and something happens to your animal, where do I go? What do I do? And, you know, we're the solution. So it's, now the difficult part is just getting out there so everybody else understands who we are and what we do. One of the things we don't do is we don't do surgery.
Okay.
Because you can't really keep a schedule clear for everybody else if you're doing a surgery. Surgeries often run long. They can be more complicated than you originally thought. And this way, you know, we don't have that, you know, anything that's a minor health issue. Pretty much most things that don't lead to surgery or euthanasia is another thing that we don't do. So, you know, we're happy to, you know, kind of stay in that niche and help people as much as we can.
And if a customer comes to you that ends up, you know, you take that first glance and you understand that a surgery or euthanasia might be the next option for them, how do you help those customers? Do you refer them out?
Yes, they're referred out. I mean, we've got some practices that we refer quite frequently to. You know, some of our normal customers, they might need help, or you know, it's not the vast majority of cases. I mean, the vast majority is just like with people. You know, we're like your general practitioner. and we forward you on to a specialist. So it's that type of, and we're lucky. We work with some really great practices.
Mhm. So what's it like getting to work with animals every day?
I love the part with the animals. My dogs are very jealous now, but I also volunteered a lot at Domestic Animal Services for 3 or 4 years, and I found that really rewarding, where I could, come in and walk the dogs. I'm also a certified dog trainer, so I could work on training them, helping their needs, give them baths, anything like that. It's great because you're always getting to know a new face, and you get to help them out, and it was something that I really appreciated being able to do, and seeing a client that comes back for that second time, the third time, because you're trusting us with your baby, and if you're going to come and trust us with your baby 3 or 4 times or more and more and stay with us, then I think that's just fantastic, and I really like to see it, and the relationships that my staff have with customers. It's through the good times and the bad times, because this is the medical field, and sometimes these things are not fun subjects, but we try and do everything and help as much as we can, and I think it shines through most of the time.
Yeah,
it was good.
So, and now in your practice, is it are you finding that the niche is working? Are you filling your day and filling your books with quick canine and cat visits?
Yeah, it's going well. We always we definitely want to be able to help more, and that's a lot of that's what my job is now. Just trying to get the word out, whether it be social media or to find a way to work with some shelters, some rescues, and potentially someday start some kind of a charity and do some charity work with animals. So yeah, that's kind of what we're all about, is trying to help the dogs and cats in the county.
Very cool. So in PetWell Clinic, the story behind how you met your veterinarian and brought her in is really incredible, but you've got more staff than that.
Yes.
So how does it work for you and your staff? What's the cultural fit that you're building at PetWell Clinic?
The difference between us and most vet clinics is most vet clinics get advance warning and can plan themselves out, and we don't have that luxury. So some days it's slow, some days it's fast, some days it's really fast. So our assistants have to be able to provide excellent customer service, because that is the most important thing to me, for sure. And they have to be able to keep up with our veterinarian. You have to work hard at those times. And I think pretty much anyone we've had in those roles has really relished being able to keep themselves busy through the day. The type of people that just want to not do as much work, take it easy, they would struggle, because we're there for the clients and their animals. And our longest standing vet assistant, she's from the military, so and she keeps the place running.
You're a walk-in clinic, so can you think back to a time where someone came in with their pet and it was like really good timing? If they hadn't come in, it might have gotten a lot worse.
We've had several animals that have been brought to us by people that they don't really want to go to the vet, and they put it off and if they put it off too long, things can get serious quickly. So we've had several situations where we had to act fast and get them referred out And we do our best to try and call out and help them. And a lot of times people don't understand how serious something is until you've got a professional telling you you need to go now. A lot of, we do our best to be completely non-judgmental. So when someone comes in to see us, they're not criticized. They're not, you should have been doing this. There's none of that. We're here to help. And I think we help a lot of pets in the community because people can feel comfortable coming in to see us. And the fact that, you don't have to wait for an appointment, it's convenient. And when they call, if it's during our working hours, they can just come straight in. And our vet is really good at catching things. And she caught something with my dog that we got from the shelter. She had actually, because of the timing of the shots, she had heartworm when we adopted her, and we didn't know. And she caught it, and luckily not much time had passed so that we could get her on medication that would help her. It could potentially save her life, because heartworm is pretty scary.
Got it. So let's talk a little bit about your pets. You work with dogs and you work with animals every day, but what about your own pets?
My pets are, they're a lot of the reason that I chose to do this. I used to have competition dogs for Schutzhund, which is doing protection work, doing scent work and obedience. And when we moved here, I had two high drive German Shepherds, and they were both my best friends forever. It's been a while now, so I have two new ones. I have a working German Shepherd that I kind of rescued from a bad situation, that I'd be lucky to get a year out of him. And he's, I think, 6 now, and he's just the happiest dog there ever was. So he's got issues, but he's learned to cope with them, and he's just a happy boy. And then when I was working at Domestic Animal Services, there was a dog there. The breed is a Dogo Argentino, or an Argentinian Mastiff. So she's a giant white dog. She's about 100 pounds. And she was having a real tough time in there adjusting. He was very unhappy at being in there, and was worried about her. So one day I just took her out of there. And she had a lot of issues in the beginning, but we stuck with it, and she's so much fun. She wakes me up every morning, but other than that, she makes me smile all the time, because she's just wild. So
she must need some room to roam.
Yeah, I get her out on walks, and she loves to wrestle and cuddle and everything like that. And with her being, big, it's a lot. There's never a dull moment, because she still thinks she's a lap dog.
Of course.
So yeah, we have a blast. So it's fun.
So what are the joys and the pains of having a family owned and operated business for you guys?
I think the joy of it is, it might sound corny, but my wife and I, I think we're even closer than we were before. Of course, everybody has their moments. Did you do this? Did you forget this? It's usually me forgetting the thing, but
yeah.
But yeah, I think we have, the two of us have certainly grown a lot, and I think it's been fantastic. And the kids as well, because they get to see, what we're doing. And I think, I always wanted to have my own business. So my grandfather was an entrepreneur. He had a bunch of rock quarries and did road resurfacing. And I got to see some of that, and I wanted to, kind of blaze my own trail and have different types of business. But I think you know, it's a lot of work, as you know, but you know, I wouldn't have it any other way, because I just working for other people is just it's not as much fun as doing it for yourself. It's a simplistic way of saying it, but yeah, you know, I love that I can set my own priorities. And of course, during the day in business, they wreck your priorities, but at least I don't have somebody standing over my shoulder. Why did you do this? Why didn't you do that? You know, now I get to, you know, figure everything out on my own and sort things out. So,
Edward, let's think about Southwest Florida for a minute. So you guys, you know, you have some strong roots here from the late '70s. So, but what's it like, you know, now? What are the pet owners like in Southwest Florida, and what have you noticed about them?
well, I think the pet owners here are definitely very passionate about their animals, and a lot love them just like family. And it's good to see. And you know, there's some unique things in Southwest Florida that you have to be careful of. And you have to be careful of bloat and some other issues that with our weather and the extreme heat. During the season, we get a lot of people that are trying to help, and they'll bring a kitten in that has been, you know, outside their house or somewhere, and they're concerned about it. And they'll take it and have it looked at, which is you know, another thing that's it's really nice to be in a community where people are doing things like that.
Yeah. How do you want your clinic to make a mark in the Southwest Florida community, in Fort Myers? What's the mark that you want the clinic to leave?
That we're all part of this one big team that we all are in Southwest Florida. You know, that we're going to be here when we get the next hurricane, because it's going to happen, and to dig in and help out in any way that we can, to contribute to the area shelters and area animal services. We do a lot of really good work, and it's a really tough job. Around here, we're blessed to have several really large shelters and domestic animal services as well. The people there are definitely working hard for the best interest of the animals in the county.
So where do you see PetWellClinic in the next 5 years?
Just basically mostly continuing to grow, to get to the point where we are helping out as many people as possible. That's essentially it, you know. And I'd also, you know, like to be able to be working more, you know, alongside community charities.
Great goal for 5 years. And if you could tell one thing to the person who's thinking about whether or not they should, or where they should bring their pet to, what's the one thing you would say?
I would say the most important thing are the preventatives. And especially around in this area, the heartworm is it's a tough one. So I know the medication is not cheap, but you know, again, I don't, you know, having a dog go through what mine went through, you know, and I can still tell a few of the things that from the medication, because the medication is, a lot of people don't realize that medication is hard on an animal. I mean, it's, I had to take a month and keep her calm, and keeping a working breed calm is not the easiest thing. I think I find that probably the most rewarding thing when it happens.
Edward Pike, thank you so much for
problem.
joining me today.
No problem.